How to deal with sellers attorneys when it comes to wholesale real estate deals. Okay, let's talk about that really quickly. There's a question. Okay, there's a question. The question goes, is it Hey, this is Ola coming to you live from my Empire Pro Studios. On this episode, we're talking about how to deal with sellers attorneys when it comes to wholesale real estate deals. Okay, let's talk about that really quickly. There's a question. Okay, there's a question. The question goes, is it okay to let the seller show the contract to the attorney before signing it? Okay, I mean, I guess that's supposed to be a yes or no answer. The automatic answer to that is really yes, but there's a few things you should understand about the dynamics of that. Okay, there's a couple of things, about three things I need you to understand about about how that works and some things you pay attention to. Okay, so let's talk about it real quick. The first question I'm going to ask you, there are three questions I want to ask you before we really finish off this question with proper answer. Okay, the automatic answer is yes. Okay, it's okay. Okay, but the first question, who is the seller's attorney? That's the first question I want to ask you. Who is the seller's attorney? Who is this person? Right, you need to know what that is. Right, oh, I want to share with my attorney and stuff like that. Why do you need to know that? It's not necessarily to know their name, right? But it's to know if this is like a standby person for the family that's been designed to protect the interest of the family. That's one side of it. The other side of it is I want you to know what an attorney means for a seller. An attorney means they protect their interest. Okay, it means they protect their interest. Okay, so that leads to another question. What is their interest? What's the interest of the seller at this point in time? Their interest could be multiple things, starting from they just want to make money, right? But it could also be the property is in trouble. The property is a liability for them. They need to get rid of it. They absolutely must get rid of it as of yesterday. That's an interest, right? And it's the job of the seller's attorney to protect that interest, whatever that takes. If that means you get that property under contract and then flip the contract to another person, the attorney will be able to see that. However, there are other factors that could blind the judgment of an attorney. The fact that they're an attorney and majority of them go everything by the textbook without really looking at the details of the interest, that could work for or against you. Okay, that's just things you should know. Okay, so who's the seller's attorney? I'm not talking about their name. As in, like, who is a seller's attorney? What's their job? The job is to protect their interest. Now, if they have a clouded up definition of what the interest of their client is, like for example, they see investors as a negative, that will work against you. Is it worth your time fighting that? I don't know, it's up to you, but maybe after this video, you'll be able to be a good judge of that. The second question that I want to ask you is that who is the most motivated one among the two people involved in the transaction? You're a buyer, right? You're a buyer. Granted, maybe temporarily because your goal is to flip the contract to an end buyer. The goal for you ultimately is to close the deal, which means to get what they want, right? So you're not doing anything illegal or unethical, okay? But now you have the seller, right? The seller has a motivation, right? You have a motivation. Your motivation is that you're building a business, right? Right? Hopefully, right? The motivation of the seller is, what exactly is the motivation? Is it money? Do they need to move? Are they in pre-foreclosure? Are they going through a divorce? Are they on a time? Are they strapped on time as in like they have to get out as fast as possible? All those questions need to be, well, it's not a lot of questions. It's just one. What's the motivation? You need to answer that question. Now, when you measure your motivation, which is to build a business, against their motivation, if you could measure it, who's the most motivated person in the equation among the two parties involved in the contract? Who is the most motivated person? Let me answer that real quickly, okay? I don't know, depending on your situation, but if you're more motivated than your seller, right? If you're more motivated than your seller, the deal is gonna fall apart anyway. Okay, it's only a matter of time or wasting some time to fall apart. But if your seller is more motivated than you, first of all, there's a very good chance they wouldn't ask to pass the contract to a seller's attorney because they just want out. Time is more of their motivation than money, right? So that means their motivation is bigger than your motivation to make money from them in their particular deal. Your motivation to want to make money in this business, just overall, of course, is probably bigger than theirs. But on that particular deal, are you stuck on that deal? Do you feel like this is your key to save your life? Are you showing that in how you're interacting with them? If they can tell that you're more motivated, you're desperate to close this deal, then obviously they want to protect themselves and talk to an attorney. Should they always talk to an attorney? Yes, but it also depends on how they involve their attorney. They may be like, listen, I got this person buying this property. I need to sell the property. Just look through the contract and make sure everything is good. The attorney will simply look through the contract and make sure everything is good with the contract. If you're using a simple contract like the one I recommend, the one you can download with our books here, go to smartrealestatewholesaling.com, right? It's a 3 pages contract. If they're motivated enough, they will sign off on it. If the attorney, they have to pay an attorney to do all this kind of stuff, right? So no attorney is willing to waste their time on stuff that doesn't seem solid anyway. But more importantly, let's stay on the question: who is the most motivated one among the parties involved in the contract? If they're more motivated than you for this deal, they probably will not ask for an attorney. If they did, the way they frame their statement or how they require or how they request the attorney to help them is going to be different, right? Hey, help me vet this guy. I'm not sure if this guy is legitimate. If they say that, they're not motivated. If they say, hey, I need to sell this property to this guy, just help me look through the 3-page document, make sure everything is good. That's 2 different things. Again, it depends on the motivation. That's why you have one job to do: market to motivated sellers and only engage motivated sellers. Don't engage people that are not motivated. Majority of the people that will call you or reach out to you are not motivated. Don't engage. Engage, be nice, and say, hey, let me know, I'll check up with you next week again. Follow up with them until they're motivated, right? But don't engage them, because if they feel like you're more desperate for the deal, they're not. It's just natural. They're scared now, right? So the third question I wanted to share with you is how to not be the motivated one. Since you now know that you can be the most motivated one, right? How do you not be the most motivated one? How do you do that? Well, the simple answer to that is you need to the simple answer to that is you need to have options. Okay? You need to create options. You need to have a pipeline of leads coming into your business every day. You need to create options. You have to create options in terms of income for yourself, so you don't depend on any one deal. You have to create options for yourself in terms of leads, so you don't depend on any one person's house, right? If you're stuck on that one house, this is why I discourage anything that involves manual, like driving for dollars, anything like that. It puts you in a position where you're desperate. Every time you find somebody talking to you on the phone, you think it's the deal, and that shows in your energy, and then you wonder why they're gone or they work with somebody else. It's because they smell it. They can smell being desperate from afar, and everybody runs away from people that are desperate. It's just life. Girls run away from desperate guys, you know. You run away from people that seem like they're kind of smothering you up, right? Anybody that seem like they're like all over you and they're clingy is not attractive. So people run away from that, right? So the way to not be the most motivated one in any situation is to have options. At least feel like you have options. At least know that you have options. How do you know that you have options? Educating yourself, understanding that this is about marketing, filling your pipeline with tons of people out here you can work with. And the shorter time you spend with non-motivated people, the closer you get to people that are actually motivated, right? You want to be spending the next 1 minute with 100 people, because that limits your time. That gives you options, as opposed to spending the next 100 minutes with one person with a very high chance that they're not motivated. That's how you become a professional in this game, okay? That's how you deal with the situation with the seller's attorney. So if somebody wants to, you give them a contract and say, I need to pass it through my attorney. Say, okay, no problem. I'll follow up with you next week. Let me know what's going on with you, okay? Here's my number. That's it. You keep it moving. You have options. You don't have time. You don't have time. You truly don't have time, because you could be spending your time marketing to new people, filling your pipeline. Okay, you're not lying. You just don't have the time. You got to get through these people. You got to be sorting rather than selling. If you have to choose between sorting and selling, you're sorting. You're looking for motivated sellers. I beg you, you're looking for motivated sellers, right? Hopefully you've been enlightened and educated. With that being said, go to smartrealestatewholesaling.com. Go download the book Smart Real Estate Wholesaling. All right, and if you go there right now, I'll also give you a bonus. Okay, real estate money secrets. Real estate money secrets. All right. Hopefully you've been enlightened, educated. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.